Take it back.
I know you guys are going through hard times right now.
Believe me, been there,
Done that.
Every time I feel sad, I remind myself that at least Pitbull has been there and done that, and he gets me.
Mr. Worldwide does charity work. I'm dead serious.
Are you just saying that because you love him?
No, I'm dead serious. Okay, so I did, as a recovering hating ass.
Yeah.
As a recovering hating ass, I used to hate Pitbull and all things pop music.
You did hate pop music, yes.
For so many years. And also, you know what the worst part about it is, too?
What?
The absolute most disgusting part about it is, too, is the era of high school for us, 2009 to the 14s.
I know.
Was the peak.
Yes.
Was the quintessential.
Yes.
Pop. Like, that's probably the last time we'll have pop
so
music.
Good.
Because we're all so depressed now.
Yes.
And so, like, any joy is met with.
But also,
this is the nihilism coming back out.
Yeah, it is.
But I was a hating ass during the best period of pop music. Gaga.
Yes.
Jason Derulo.
Yes.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
like
also, all of the like
Kesha?
party, yes, Kesha too, but also all the party remixes, like the Lil Jon era, where like everything was just a fucking club remix.
Yes,
and it was all so good. I have to tell you, going to college during that time,
I missed out. I know, and I was so busy being and I do, to be clear, I do love Radiohead, The Strokes, and my classics.
That's true. You do,
and
you're just an emotional man.
I know, but to think that like. I was like well, you're not listening to real music.
You were. Yes.
This pillowcase is so soft. I want to be clear, too. Amazon has been getting our ass lately, though, because I think we have bought several things.
Yeah, that we didn't
anticipate.
They
were not.
They weren't
what they said they were.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's fine.
Yeah,
just make sure you read the description on things, or you end up buying 32-piece Lego kit instead of one giant 2x4 Lego.
Yeah. It's so funny to me that you really thought you were the measurements being 2x4 meaning what, like 2 feet by 4 feet?
A 2x4.
You really thought you were buying a 2 foot by 4 foot Lego?
Yes.
Baby.
That's
gigantic.
So for real.
Also, what would we have done with a 4 foot piece of Lego?
We would have figured it out like everything else.
All right, that's fair.
We would have, yeah.
All right, we have really lost the sauce. Hi,
not even.
Everybody.
We've only been doing this for like a minute.
Welcome.
How are you doing today? Thanks for listening.
The timer literally says 3 minutes.
I know, that means we've been doing a really good job. Last time we vamped for like fucking 20 minutes.
That's true. Thanks for coming. You're listening to There's a Lot to Unpack here.
And we're going to unpack our dirty laundry today. Is it dirty? It's not really dirty. It's clean.
I think it's just like...
It's like taking the laundry like when you start your vacation.
Yeah.
It's like when you start your vacation.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know the chair? Everybody has the chair.
What do you mean the chair? Oh.
It's like
yeah,
that
mine used
laundry.
to be that plastic one that you said I had to get rid of.
Because
when
it
we
was
were...
disgusting.
So when I first got our first humble living arrangements, I had to live in the house by myself for a little while. So as any married bachelor would,
married bachelor?
Yeah, because I was single in a sense that I was living alone. No, we
were
were married.
Single.
I'm not single. What I'm saying is I was single in the house. I had not had.
You were alone?
I had not had your touch. Yeah, but single sounds way better than being alone. That sounds so sad.
You were alone.
I was very much alone. We had no pets at the time. Just me and my computer.
Well, we did, but I had the cats. The cats were with me.
They were obviously not with me yet.
Yeah.
They were not of home yet.
No.
And I had a futon on the floor.
No, you didn't.
Was it a futon or a mattress?
You had a mattress.
Where did we even get that mattress from?
A mattress from Walmart.com.
Is that what it was?
And I had it delivered to that house because I didn't want to drive it from Phoenix to Tucson.
Yeah.
You had a mattress. I'm pretty sure the mattress was on the floor, though.
No, it definitely was. We didn't upgrade to
one of the metal bed frames that just lifts it like 6 inches off the ground.
And also now, this is again the compromise thing, because look how far we've come.
I know.
Our bed now is like 8 feet off the floor.
We have a beautiful bed frame.
You actually have to kind of like...
I have to do a little hop, yeah. I'm like a little Link.
You're like Link getting into the bed.
Yeah, because it's that high off the ground.
And then I had in the room where I would put my shoes and stuff on, I had a lawn chair.
It was a plastic patio chair.
It was used too. It wasn't even clean.
No, yes, because the only furniture that we had, like at all, in the house when we first moved in was the plastic patio set that was a table and 2 chairs, and we used that to eat off of for like
a long
weeks
time
until I finally found a dining room table off of Craigslist.
And nowadays, that set of furniture alone would probably be like $1,000 for that plastic shitty white patio furniture.
Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. But no, it really was a journey living in that house.
We can't even get patio furniture now if we wanted.
Remember when we bought that big giant sectional and we were so proud of ourselves?
It was from
American Furniture Warehouse. It was the most disgusting chocolate brown color.
The chocolate brown color was
cozy.
Like,
it wasn't, chocolate is like being generous. It was like a mud brown.
It was
like
kind
a poopy brown.
It was kind of a poopy brown.
Yeah, it was not very good.
And then add the pets. That didn't last very long.
No.
We in our and the way we got rid of that too, because we asked one of our friends with the truck, because remember we took it to the dump?
Yes.
Yeah, and so we asked one of our friends if they could help us get rid of it, and because we have no patience, we have no chill. Like this is literally the extent we would go to.
Yeah.
Is we took it into our front yard then and busted it down and ripped it apart with scissors and knives and hammers and broke the wood down so that it would fit in Mickey's vehicle, so we didn't have to ask one of our friends with the truck.
I would also just like to point out that experience was particularly transformative for me because it was really eye-opening. Like the way that modern furniture is built. My impression is that there was like some wood in there, and I guess there was like a few pieces,
like
but
the idea of wood.
Mostly it's fucking thick cardboard.
Yeah.
Like almost all of the furniture, probably if you've bought it from like a large commercial warehouse or like store situation, that bitch is made of cardboard.
Yeah, no wonder houses go on fire quick.
Well, and also like, why is it so expensive?
That's a good question too, actually.
Why?
Capitalism.
Was that? I mean, yes, but like, what a fucking ripoff.
It honestly makes no sense because it's basically just
really
like
mad.
Upholstery and cardboard.
Cardboard, yes.
And like a frame.
It's like tacked together with hopes and dreams and staples. It was literally staples and cardboard and a few pieces of particle board and foam, obviously.
I still can't believe we broke down we fit an entire sectional in the back of your little crossover.
We must have looked like absolute loons.
We always do.
We were out in the driveway with pocket knives. Like we had like a switchblade.
You would think we were looking for cash. It was giving. I think in Breaking Bad there's a scene. Aren't they looking? Or there's I know there's shows where they hide the money.
Yeah.
Or it's like the reverse of Frank coming
Bad.
out of the sectional in that episode of It's Always Sunny.
Yes.
And he's in the Christmas party.
We literally had like a carpet, like the box cutter blade.
Oh, we were going ham.
And a switchblade, and we were just like.
And it was so cathartic. It was incredible.
Cathartic. We must have looked like absolute loons.
Also, they put some big staples in that bitch.
Yeah, there's big. Anyways,
you be careful.
Don't break down your own furniture. That's not a good lesson.
What?
Don't do that. It's dangerous.
Okay. We're not advocating for breaking down your furniture.
No. Okay, so let's talk about what we're actually here to talk about. We were having a conversation yesterday.
Actually, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
This is the quickest turnaround for content we've ever had.
I know. Good for us. We were having a conversation yesterday. What did you call it?
Oh, in our infinite enmeshment.
Yeah.
I feel like we should get a big like text where it's like infinite enmeshment.
I feel like you have like such a catchphrase brain.
I do, like that and alliteration, like just
that's like your thing. Don't make that noise.
Oh, was it bad in the?
Yeah. I don't even have headphones on and I'm mad about it. But we were talking about this because we obviously are quite enmeshed. We grew up together
in the fun way.
Also
and the problematic way.
Well, yeah, it's also a little problematic, but whatever. We're working on it. But we grew up together. We were kids together. So, like...
We've been together. We've been around a long time.
Like, our whole adult lives, basically. So, like, yes, we are very enmeshed, which means that we agree on, like, a lot of things.
It's kind of annoying, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like, especially when we hang out with other couples, we're really fucking irritating.
Oh, we fucking kill it at couples games. Like, it's not even funny. Like, especially when we play with older people who have been married for a long time. Like... Nothing'll get your jimmies in a bunch than losing to a couple of fucking kids.
You know that? Have you seen that movie called Four Christmases?
I think we've seen it.
With Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, I think.
I can't recall anything from it.
So there's a scene from that movie. I think the sound was trending on TikTok for a while because when they're visiting Vince Vaughn's family, his brother and sister-in-law are like that at the card game, where like
don't they get mad?
He says like, or she says, the wife is the one giving the clues. And she gives the most like weird descriptive phrases. Oh, yes, and then he guesses immediately. And she's like, yes. She's so excited about it. But like legitimately, that is me and you.
That was such a trend, those couples movies and that like that and couples retreat. And, like I feel like that like
no, they really were. Yes. Yeah, Vince Vaughn was really on a tear with the couples movies at that time.
That dude must have been going through some shit in his personal life.
It's just sweating.
Like, I know, I was looking at it and I was like, that is wet.
No, but I just don't want to drink out of this sippy cup lid.
Anyways, in our infinite enmeshment. TM. I'll copyright you if you take it.
Yeah.
But then I'll claim that I didn't actually do it.
Babe.
Go on.
Get out of here. But so we were talking about things that we disagree about. Like, what are some things that we actually disagree about?
And wouldn't you know it?
Don't see eye to eye about. And the thing that came up was our personal application of like
what a nice way to say it.
Unlearning the relationship escalator.
If you're not familiar with the relationship escalator, boy, do we have an episode for you.
Yeah, we'll explain that first because I think that's probably important.
Yes.
For those of you who are unaware, we're polyamorous, and so we love each other very much, but then also date other people.
I can't believe we haven't gotten a divorce yet. Once you become poly, don't you just...
I know, apparently. But our personal perspective about the whole thing is that like love is an infinite resource, and so like loving other people,
I think we could talk about...
doesn't take away from loving someone, you know?
We could literally talk about that for a whole episode. In fact, we probably will.
We really could. We did a vaguely therapeutic episode talking about it, actually. So if you guys want to do that, I think it's up there. Up here, maybe. I don't know. It's somewhere.
It's going to fall down on me.
You look like one of those kids, you know, when you go to like Disneyland or whatever, and they're like, pretend the Tinkerbell's up there. That's what you look like just now.
I'm good at imagining and playing pretend.
So we wanted to talk about that today because I feel like it would be fun to talk about something that we disagree about.
This is going to be another fun conversation, I think. I'm interested to see where...
Okay, so let's start by explaining the relationship escalator.
Do you want to do it or do you want...
I think it can be a collaborative conversation.
Let's do it on 3, 2, 1. And we'll just talk. Like, we'll stream of consciousness at the same time.
That sounds like a nightmare.
No, that'd be awful. Please take us away.
Oh, okay. To me, I think the easiest explanation of the relationship escalator is that it's kind of the opposite of the way that most people conceptualize how relationships are supposed to look.
Like, what is this phrase? The love, baby
love,
carriage.
marriage, baby carriage.
Love, marriage. I was going to say baby marriage.
Baby, nope, not that. No, the love, marriage, baby carriage thing where like we as a society have kind of accepted that relationships are supposed to naturally progress in their seriousness. In starting with like, you know, the talking phase thing that you do, and then you eventually put a label on it, and then you kind of like go steady for a while, and then you move in together and you have like the merging of the things and all of that, and then like
doing the progressing.
Yes, you adopt a pet together.
Going up steps if you need a visual representation.
Thank you. You know, you like move in together, you buy a pet together, you become financially entangled, you make the decision to get married. So like you get engaged, you get married,
get messier,
and then
messier.
Yes, and then you know, another part of that logical progression, I think, from a societal perspective, is that eventually you'll have kids.
The logical, that is the progression.
Yeah, that's like the way it's supposed to be. So you do that, and then your kids have kids, and you know, whatever. It's like
congrats,
the whole...
you have won capitalism.
Yes. Yeah, it's very much like a...
If you start, the more you unlearn things, you're like, oh, it all goes back.
Yeah, it really does. It's all white supremacy and capitalism.
It's every single time.
Honestly,
every single time.
So disappointing.
If you just dig deep enough.
Yeah. So the relationship escalator, or like unlearning the relationship escalator, rather, the particular phrase that you and I seem to resonate with is relationship anarchy, which sounds like it's a rock band.
A fun one is the smorgasbord, the relationship smorgasbord. Smorgasbord.
Oh, that's right. They talked about that on an episode of Multiamory, huh?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Smorgasbord? Can you say it once, please, so I can hear?
Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Orchesbord.
I know it's gonna. It's over now. It's over. I can just picture the rat floating around now.
Yeah. But anyways, so the phrase that we tend to resonate with is relationship anarchy, essentially meaning that there is not a one way that relationships are supposed to look.
Yes.
We, for like us, feel, I mean, I don't want to speak for you.
We'll say it and I'll see how I'll let you know.
It feels important that like people generally, but like also us, because it's our life, get to like choose the things that resonate with you and the things that don't, right?
I was already on the same page. Yeah,
so
it's like very freeing, honestly, to like not have, because it's like the same thing with unlearning the like the pressure to have children, but like the same thing with relationships, like, because I was kind of getting, this is like the slippery slope that we fell down, is that we're like, well, if we don't have to have kids, like what do our relationships and our community and like our life generally, like if we're like choosing to just say fuck it to everything, then like what does our life look like then? Yeah,
like what other things are we choosing to uphold that maybe don't feel authentic?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Because we were very much, to be clear too, we were like in the gifted kid, full like golden star, gold star kid. We kind of got to like the tippy top of the escalator, and then we were like, well, what the fuck do we do up here now?
Well, and also too, like we weren't ready to do the kid thing, and so we were like,
we were fast tracking life. Like we would have been ready to retire at 24.
Except that, that's not how it works
in this economy.
In any economy, really. But yeah, I think the visual that resonates with me the most. You know those like sushi restaurants where it's like a little train, like
the
a little
conveyor belt?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, we've had one of those before.
Yes.
Where the food comes out on the train, you got to grab it before it gets.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
and you
but
pay
I
with
feel
your
like the
plates.
relationship escalator perspective is that you have to grab every piece of sushi that goes by, even if you don't want it. Like that's what you're supposed to do, right? And like for you and me, we're like, no, that's okay. We'll let that one pass right by, you know? And so it's been really freeing to like actually ask ourselves, like, do I want to eat that?
Yes.
Do I want that? I don't know. And
no,
then
I
like
feel like we ask ourselves that all the time now. Like,
feel very comfortable in being like,
yes.
bye, as it sort of slides by.
Well, I feel like too, because especially I think during COVID obviously helped too, because we were not feeling such pressure to go. Well, we weren't like not feeling any pressure because there was no pressure to go to family gatherings or events or other peer. I don't say peer pressure because that's not quite the right term, but like going to things out of obligation,
feeling of expectation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think like generally not having to go to those events, it was kind of nice to like sit and like be like, well, how do we enjoy spending our time?
Yes.
And like, what do we do that actually recharges our cup? Because very much for you and me, I think I can speak for you. We're like very anxious little beings, and like, I don't know. I feel like we used to be a lot better about it, but then obviously post COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah, it wrecked me.
But that social battery
wrecked me.
Is low. Like we're like when you first start Tears of the Kingdom.
Dumb.
I couldn't help myself.
No, it really
but no,
is
for
like
real
that,
though, like that shit drains quick. And I feel like I don't know too. Might be us getting older thing.
That's
as well.
Fair. Yeah.
I wonder if there's some effect of having like like the trauma, because we talked about it a little bit too, the trauma of like COVID and stuff. If like that like aged us more than it would have otherwise.
Yeah, 100% it did.
But
because also we were kind of on a tear. Not that we were like
so.
doing irresponsible shit necessarily, because I think a lot of our like fuck off phase started post COVID.
Yeah.
But we were like going out a lot. We were going to concerts a lot. Like we were.
We kind of didn't stop, honestly.
Yeah.
And if we weren't doing something, we were like doing some outdoorsy.
If we weren't
the weather
like
was nice,
working, then we were hanging out with friends, or going to a party, or doing this, that, or the other, or we were hiking.
Yes.
You know, like going on a vacation or whatever. Like it was just like constant.
I think too, speaking of that too, is like unlearning the need to constantly be doing something.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we came into our disagreement with the relationship escalator.
Yeah.
Is that just because now that we have fun, fancy language and terms for things, doesn't mean it just automatically is like solidified and like we have
unlearned it now.
Unlearned it and we have ascended to a higher tier of existence, and now we are perfectly formed.
We're better than you.
That is absolutely not the fuck how it works. And so one of my, I would say shortfalls or shortcomings.
Okay.
But one of the areas
your continued areas of growth
struggle with
your HR
is, and Mickey thinks it's funny. Mickey gets a real kick out of it.
Because it is.
Is that I do. Because obviously, as we do date other people.
You sound like you're about to admit to like an addiction or something.
I actually... I don't just love Pitbull. I actually am. I only listen to Pitbull anymore.
Oh, is that what you're admitting to?
Yeah, that's actually what this whole episode has been.
That's what this is. Your
this is my emotional. This is much more than an emotional
owning
support.
your fanboy attitude
of
about
Pitbull.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
Yeah, for sure. No, anyways, for real. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say. So my area of work still, I do still find myself very much. It sounds like such an easy thing to just say like, oh, we're off the relationship escalator now.
Yeah.
And then like when relationships are just, and they just are.
Yes.
Then it's kind of like, what do I do now?
Yes.
So I do still find myself getting into positions where labels. And also, I'm just a very type A person.
Yeah.
I'm an organized person.
Yeah.
I like things to be in a certain place. I like for them.
Yeah.
These walls sometimes, I always trust Mickey. I trust her judgment. But if this isn't a depiction of my like, especially when we get started and there's nothing on there and I'm like, I need to have everything mapped out, measured, and like situated.
Yeah, you do.
Which is crazy though, because other times, like when we travel and stuff, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll go wherever you want, do whatever.
Yeah.
Just like
you're
I'll go
just vibing,
go with the flow.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like this, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And so I'm the same way with relationships.
Okay, I do want to let you off the hook a little bit though, because I feel like I would be disingenuous to not like also own that, right? Because you and I have talked about this a little bit, that like we are both kind of still in the process of unlearning that like impulse with a relationship where like, you know, you like you've gone on a couple of dates with somebody, you've been talking for like, I don't know, a few weeks or like, you know, months or whatever.
Your girlfriend, boyfriend now.
Yes. Yeah. Like that's
obviously.
Well, and also too, like for me, it's not so much because I've never really been like a labels person necessarily. Like I was very much a labels person with you, but I think that was more a like childish.
The children.
Yeah.
We were children.
Possessiveness. Yeah.
Possessiveness.
Yeah.
Yes. That was the other thing too. That's
Hold on, I'm not done.
I'm so sorry. I got so excited.
But like, it's not so much like the possessive thing for me, so much as it is the like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
Like, are you wasting my time? Because I am just very sensitive. Like, it's a button for me to feel like people are wasting my time.
Oh my God.
And so it's been a journey, I think. Like, I'm still on the process of unlearning that, like, having a label means that someone has given you commitment to not waste your time. Because, like, first of all, that's not true. Like, there are lots of people in labeled relationships who are very much wasting each other's fucking time.
Well, you talk about that. You hear about that all the time, especially in the place where I work, too. I feel like, or like very much, like the extended boif gurf. I wish there's an easier way to say gurf. It doesn't sound the same as boif.
Boif, yeah, no, it does.
Boif sounds good.
Yeah.
But yes, who are very much like serially in relationships that just kind of
well, and also who like will drag their feet about committing to each other or like not really hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
In terms of like being a present partner or a partner who's like invested in your life, right?
Or if I had $1 for every married person I knew that was married, that was just like
that knows nothing about their partner's like hobbies or interests or life or like goals.
What are you guys doing? But then like
literally
also too, like when you add kids into the mix, like I get it at the same time too, but it's also like yeah, it's rough. It's like a really hard. I feel like that's like really gray area stuff. Yeah. And I think too, that's the other thing too is like, well, the divorce is like a whole nother
that's a whole separate thing. But I guess the point that I'm making though is that like for me, the instinct or impulse that I have is to lean towards labeling stuff because in my brain, like societally, it's this sort of like implied understanding that like you're not fucking around or wasting my time.
Yes.
And I will also say too, I think this is potentially slightly easier for me because the majority of the people that I date are either women, femmes, like non-binary or trans people. Like I don't really date cis men a lot.
Understandable.
So
same.
There's not really like that's already a queer space. It's already a space. Like when I say queer, what I mean in the sense that like it's non-normative, right? It's like not conforming
societally
to like the societal expectations.
What the relationship escalator traditionally would look like.
And so it feels a lot easier for me to just kind of like let go of that, I think, because it doesn't mimic any of the relationship experiences that I've had, like with you, for example. But like you're not so much in that boat. And so I think maybe it's probably coming up for you more. Yeah. I don't want to speak for you, but like that's my hypothesis anyway.
Is that your hypothesis?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound that far off, honestly.
Yeah.
I guess you're decent at reading people, I guess, to say the least.
Just a little. Just decent, I guess.
I wonder if with that too, because we didn't have language for this or any understanding. Also, I thought polyamory and polygamy were the same thing for the longest time. Like I just thought like that whole, because when we were growing up, the Warren Jeffs thing, I think.
Oh, yes.
I am.
Yes.
So like I am good with words, but I'm also like so bad with them sometimes. Especially when I like some things are close. I'm like, those must just be the same. Must just be the same thing.
Well, to be fair, they both have the poly prefix.
Yes. And so like when that stuff was coming up, I was like, oh, so like that's all. Like I thought
all
that's what this was, and like those are not the same thing.
Yeah,
I did not know that growing up, and also we were obviously kids still growing up during that time.
Also, too, like I had some awareness as we became like adults. I certainly was not aware of this as a kid, but like when I grew up, I was like vaguely aware that polyamorous people were a thing, that like it wasn't polygamy, but it was a thing. But my impression of it, first of all, was still very much steeped in the relationship escalator thing, in the sense that like polyamorous people, it's just like 3 people who are all in a relationship, right? Or like people who live in a commune and they're all still doing the like marriage, babies, moving in together thing. And so I just
doing it with multiple people.
Yes. I just thought it was like adding more people to your relationship. I didn't realize that there was like a whole underlying value system to the thing.
Yeah.
So like learning about relationship anarchy and all of that, I was like it felt like drinking from a fire hose, you know, like that. You're just like so much information.
Like once you,
I don't know what to do with all of this.
Rabbit hole, it's
like
honestly,
super overwhelming.
But also too, I don't think there was that much media or literature or like I remember podcasts back in the day. Like I remember podcasts. I'm like, who the fuck would sit and listen to someone talk for an hour?
Talk radio. I know.
Like that's the most boring thing I've ever heard.
Except
Meanwhile,
that now we both love podcasts.
Yeah. And listen to podcasts regularly.
Yes, especially on road trips.
Oh my God.
Podcasts on road trips are the best.
So good.
Yeah.
almost better than snacks. They're like snacks for your brain. They don't hit better than snacks.
Disagree.
What is the best road trip snack? I think as of late, what are you going to say?
I know what you're going to say, and I disagree with you wholeheartedly.
Well, what the hell do you think I'm going to say?
Can I out you?
Yeah, go for it.
You like fucking apple slices.
Yes, I like apple slices. I was going to say fucking Takis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Takis are
That's so
good.
fucking rude. I would not place apples in Takis. Apples, though, are good road trip snacks.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're
They're
not.
crunchy.
No.
They're sweet. They're a little savory.
And they get stuck in your teeth.
They don't.
They do.
You have big old...
I literally don't. I have little Tic Tac teeth, and you have big teeth, sir. Don't talk to me about teeth.
They don't get stuck in your teeth. What are you talking about?
No, they do.
Do not believe.
I hate
You thought
apples.
I was going to say apples.
I fucking hate apples.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite then? Do tell. Pray tell.
Probably donuts from the gas station.
Messy. I need water after.
Are you really going to talk to me about messy snacks?
Takis, I eat one. I eat one. And then you...
Ew.
Yeah, then I get done with the road trip.
Yeah.
No, it's not yucky. There's not enough.
That's
There's not enough powder.
yucky. I don't like things that are on my fingers.
I wish I sometimes could have acrylics. Maybe I'll get acrylics someday just so I can have two just so I
Okay,
can.
Julian.
Just so I can.
Absolutely
Just so I can
not.
pick up the Takis and not get any of the dust powder.
No.
Okay, honestly, life hack 2. I'm going to blow
What?
everyone's mind right now.
What?
Okay, so salad.
Uh-huh.
You take Takis and you crush them up. Like little crunchies.
You're like evangelical about this.
Because it is so good. I'm
I've
telling
never
you, if you have
tried
trouble
it, to
eating
be
salads,
fair.
and then like you can pick up this.
But that also requires you to like Takis, though.
Lots of people. There's dozens of us.
Okay.
Takis is one of the fastest selling snack brands in the whole entire United States.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You literally just made that up. I can see in your eyes that you're fucking lying.
I'm Googling it because it doesn't feel wrong.
Whatever.
Also,
Anyways.
I've never had guac Takis and I'm convinced they don't exist. Mickey swears they do.
They do.
I think it's just one of the things they just put on the packaging to keep you looking
No,
for them.
no,
And you're like,
no.
fine, I'll settle.
They sell them at QT.
Never seen
They
them.
come in a little white bag. I'm telling you.
Why
if
would
you've
guac
had-
Takis come in a white bag?
Because the walkie-talkies are green, and so the bag is like this shiny white, and the walkie-talkies are green. If you've had them, can you please put it in the comments? Everyone
don't
thinks that I'm
exist.
fucking making it up, and I'm not.
No one I know has ever had guac
My
Takis.
dad gave me a bag of them one time when I was like in high school or something.
So they probably don't make them anymore.
And then I started eating them, and I saw them at QT like as recently as a few weeks ago, babe.
But you didn't get a pack.
No.
That would have solidified your story a lot more, don't you think?
We're going to go to QT like right the fuck now. Like we're literally about to go.
Just pause the episode real quick.
Yes. When we're done with filming today, we are going to QT, and I'm going to get you a thing of guac-talkies, and I'm going to film it on my phone, and I'm going to force you to input the footage into this episode just to take my name
more work
out
for
of the
me.
mud. I'm telling you, they're real, and they're
Also,
really
for
good.
real, this pillowcase is so soft.
I know you're really
It's so good.
Let me see. Hello, Mr. Worldwide. It's like soft. It's warm because you've had it on your armpits.
A lot
I
of
like
heat in
that.
this undercarriage.
Ew.
Anyways, back to the relationship escalator.
Yeah, so I feel like that's probably the one thing that we like disagree about. So
Definitely.
question.
I don't know. Is it us disagreeing though, or like,
Well, that's
am
what
I
was-
just slow to the?
That's what I was about to ask you.
Ask me. Ask
Do you think that there is a place or a time where you will feel no pull at all towards labeling relationships, or like, I mean, we say labeling relationships, by the way, we mean like calling each other boyfriend or girlfriend or partners or
Yeah.
like, you know, whatever.
I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea of that sounds obviously preferred and super nice. I think right
Well,
now.
does it actually though, or are
Yeah,
you
no,
just
it
saying that
definitely
because
does.
it sounds?
No,
Because
no,
like
no.
we also do the thing too, where like, you and I both are like, you know, like the
chronic people pleasers?
Yes. Yeah. We need to be approved of.
Yeah.
And so like, I think sometimes with polyamory, there's like this expectation that there's like the right and ethical way to do it.
I don't disagree.
You know?
I don't disagree. But also, that's the cool thing about it too. And I love sharing our side of it.
Yeah.
But then like, I also love hearing about people in the comments and how they do it and their experiences with it.
Yeah.
Because it just continues. I think that was something we even talked about too, like early on when we first started.
Yeah.
Forever ago now. But people just do it so differently.
Yeah.
And like, you don't have to agree with the way they do it.
No.
And there's not a right way or a wrong way.
No. As
And
long as
it's
everybody
whatever
involved
works.
is consenting to that particular agreement,
honest,
then like
and-
it's fine.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone's on the same page. Then like if it works, I think that's the other thing too. Like when people, especially when you tell people who are still traditionally more,
Monogamous.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's just like sometimes filled with a lot of judgment,
Well, yeah.
and understandable.
Is it?
I get it.
Is it?
I get it, but also too at the
I
same
don't.
time, like as long as, because I think the thing that always cracked me up is like, oh well, aren't you gonna get hurt?
yes,
like don't people
everybody
who date
in relationships
get
gets
hurt?
hurt sometimes.
Like that is life.
Our couples
Correct?
therapist literally said to us one time.
Oh my God, that shit did blow my mind.
I know.
This is
our
not
couples
free
therapist
advice.
is the best.
Or this is not this. Yeah, this was like a.
They told us one time because we were kind of talking about like our respective hurts and whatever.
Yes.
And our couples therapist was like, the thing that's important for us to remember is that we oftentimes have this fantasy about relationships that real love and true love and healthy love will mean that we never hurt each other, that we never get hurt. And they were like, that's just not really how relationships work.
It's not reality.
The reality is that you have to be willing to both hurt and be hurt in order to experience like real, true, deep love.
Yeah.
And I have never really thought about it that way before, but I feel like that makes so much sense.
Well, I think too, jumping off of that too, I think the thing with the labels that is nice is like in theory, if you're committing to this person to put a label on something, then they won't hurt you anymore. You don't have to worry about your time not being respected or like feeling hurt or like feeling left out or jealous or envious or whatever synonym or word you want to use.
Yeah.
And so by putting this label on it, it's like a little safety net. Like,
it is a safety net.
Well, this title wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah.
Like someone that I've put on this pedestal or this esteemed position wouldn't treat me like this.
I'd like let you in. So you're special now.
Like why would you want to let me down like this? When in reality, which is funny too, because like the place I find myself is too after putting a label on it, I feel like there's much more expectation. Yeah. And there's much more like
which is why I don't like it.
I agree.
I think also too that sorry, were you
done?
done?
I haven't had a GERF since then.
That's fair.
Or another.
What I was going to say is that I feel like that's also a reason that I tend to shy away or like find it easier to shy away from the labels thing, which also to be clear, not all polyamorous people don't like labels. Like there are plenty of polyamorous people who like labels, who choose to use them. Like that's none of my business. That's fine.
Also, if we get to that
point, it's just a me thing.
If we get to that point, you get to that point, I get to that point, and like it feels appropriate. Yeah. And everyone's on the same page, then like
it's fine.
Fucking sweet.
Yeah. That's like literally fine. But I think part of the reason that I shy away from them is because I do have an issue. Like it's a button for me to feel like people are entitled to my time or to feel like if I'm in relationship with someone and they're expressing or behaving in a way that communicates that like they feel entitled to me or my time, like that pushes my buttons and I don't like that.
And that was something else too that we, I think like being poly was super important for us, especially too because we had become so enmeshed. Our time was like, we were a single unit. Yeah. Very much like
we were one contiguous organism.
We needed to separate our identities. Yeah. We didn't need to. Yeah.
We needed to.
Yeah.
It's healthy to have separate identities.
It is. And I think we had spent so much time doing like this. Yeah. So then like even I and you, like scheduling things with other people and like having this like, I don't just get unfettered access to your time. Yeah. Like your time is valuable and important.
Yes. Well, and like I think that happened a couple of times with like what do you mean you're busy on Saturday?
Yes.
And like, well, what do you mean that you just assumed that I would be free on Saturday? Yeah. Like you didn't ask. Like it's Friday evening. What do you mean?
And because I know I got really bad because I know it's such a stereotype though. But like, don't stop dating your spouse.
I know.
I don't know why it sounded like the little krill from.
You kind of did a little. He's fairly happy.
He's going so big. I think it's been really good for me though to be like and have to like put my ass into it and then like if I want your time then like hey we're going on a date like you
like,
free
are you free
like I would like putting myself like I want to make this request I'm not telling you but like it would be super awesome and like it's been really I think a lot more helpful.
I feel like it also has increased the amount of respect that we feel for each other.
I agree.
Because the early part of transitioning into polyamory was messy for us. Like that was a difficult time. And a lot of what came up was feeling taken for granted. Was feeling so like there was a lack of respect sometimes.
I feel like the first year of couples therapy was just
it was rough.
Constantly that,
Yeah. And so I think that's been like really transformative in the way that we view each other and the way that we feel accepted and seen in our relationship because like we're not really like giving advice in this type of content but
it's
like
more narrative
for real. If I did have to give advice though it would be to like reframe the way that you view your time and your partner's time even if you are monogamous because like just assuming that they will have time for you is like actually not very respectful and it can be really hurtful and I think it does like you were saying it can kind of turn into that like taking each other for granted and like not dating each other anymore. Because there's just kind of this like,
it just leads to
like,
complacency.
well, like of course we'll have this free time together, so we'll just like flop on the couch and like do nothing, and like not that there's anything wrong with that, because like I do love a good flop, you know.
It's so good.
But also it feels really nice to be like, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? Do you want to flop on the couch with me?
Yes, with some intention behind it.
Yeah, as opposed to just like assuming that you will be there and like not really giving it a second thought, you know.
I probably will switch after. I'm gonna give you a lot more.
Do you want some coffee?
Yeah, sure.
A little sippy.
I've been so slowly learning how to like coffee.
Aaron is turning into a coffee boy.
That one's pretty fresh though. They put a little cinnamon on the bottom.
It's hazelnut. Thank you very much.
They put a little hazelnut on the bottom. Coffee snobs, always the same.
Mm-hmm.
No, that shit does hit though. That's really good. I always wonder. I wonder what my first coffee will be that I'll finish whole.
You make it sound like you're swallowing it like a hard-boiled egg or something.
The first time I had Starbucks, I had a mocha frappuccino. It was at a Suns game. Yeah. I was like 13, that's 14 really with my friend, my best friend at the time, my childhood best friend.
Yeah.
And we were in the thing, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you got to try this." And I was like, "This fucking sucks."
You didn't like it even
No,
then?
it had like there's something about, like I love the smell of coffee, the smokiness, the roastedness.
But you just don't like the taste of it.
Oh man, no.
That's
even
so
when
funny.
you like put it in, that's pretty good though. I'm warming up to it. Maybe I'll be like 60 years old when I finally have my first cup of coffee.
But also too, you used to be that way about wine.
Oh, I love wine.
You would like insist that you did not like wine, and I was like, okay, we've tried it one time.
Okay, for real though, I think the wine ties back into that last episode we were talking about though. I think I didn't want to like wine because dudes drink beer and have cans and grapes, fruit. Not for me.
Lame.
I had to have, because the first wine we had hops in it. So I was like, well, if I'm going to try it, I guess at least it has kind of beer in it.
Man, I'm so glad that I booked that wine tasting, because I feel like it changed the trajectory of our lives.
Literally, I think it might have.
For real. I think, also, that wine was so good.
Oh, it was so good. And of course, they went out of business.
I
and
know.
It doesn't exist
we had
anymore.
it literally one time and then never had it ever again.
That's
I'm
what we
so sad.
get for trying. This is why we don't try new things, because you're just let down and disappointed.
Yeah. Well,
that's not true.
I don't think that's
just
true.
Kidding.
No,
they just go away.
What?
I don't know.
No. Try new things. Trying new things is good.
Try new things. Do new dances.
Yeah. Take more chances. Do more dances. That's what it says.
Dance more. I can read it from right here.
What did I say?
Take more chances. Dance more dances.
What did I say?
Take more chances. Do more dances.
Oh, dance more dances. Sorry. Okay, so you feel like there is probably like it. To you, it sounds like it feels like an eventuality that you will move away from labels.
The security blanket is what we were talking about earlier. The safety blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like that thing of like, well, I can't get hurt, because like sometimes, because the initial phases of dating too, I think especially we were so funny, we were so ripe and green and ready for our feelings to get hurt.
So naive.
Taking everything so personal.
I know.
When it came to dating, and like dating, like it's like, of course, all interactions are shallow.
A little bit,
as you're like working, and like sometimes, like obviously I've had connections with people where like it feels like you just jump right in.
Yeah.
And I think too, having those experiences too, like, because I was very much like putting in the most effort, and so I wanted that reciprocity.
Yes, the reciprocity.
The reciprocity.
Yeah.
I do really good with words, but sometimes that one just first.
Yeah, it's only that word in particular that like really gets your goat.
It gets my goat every time. But yeah, I wanted that energy back, that feedback.
Yeah.
And so then I wouldn't get it. I'd be like, well, I need to double down and try even harder. And like, no, bitch, that's not the right idea.
Not how it
do the
works.
opposite actually and do way the fuck less.
Yeah.
So now I'm able to like, wow, that was probably really loud.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm able to spot that a lot easier now. I don't have this pull and this expectation to like every relationship isn't deserving of your full ass.
No.
And I think that's something that's really cool, actually.
Yes.
Like, some relationships are just casual and are like...
yes. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And like, some things are deeper and heavier and like take more emotional effort. And like...
I feel like, that's also been really
again,
freeing.
it's a spectrum thing. Like, when you stop looking at things, I think for me, the relationship escalator was very much like black or white.
Yes.
And so like switching, like polyamory obviously is a switch. And then switching to that. And like, well, if we're gonna date and do all this stuff, then like obviously then we must be this thing.
Yeah. And
that's not how that works.
It's supposed to
that's
look
not
this
even
way.
that's not even how I prefer it to work, but like it's just very built in. Like there needs to be an escalation of things. And it's like very freeing to like let yourself off the hook that like it's okay to kind of just exist.
Yes.
But I think like too, it's also like a product of like my need for like, I don't want to say like hustle culture per se, but like kind of like that embodiment of like you need to always be working and growing and getting something and like what's the next
something
thing?
to show
How do we?
for.
Yes.
Yeah.
The never being satisfied kind of a thing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like also there is a tinge of the like validation thing.
Oh,
because you and I
just say a lot for me.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say you and I both have had our own struggles with not internalizing the way that people treat us as being a reflection of our value.
Yeah,
you know?
Yes. We had many conversations about
which
that.
Which is also part of that like pull, I think, like for me anyways, but I would assume for a lot of people that like having someone be willing or be ready to say, I want to call you my girlfriend, I want to call you my boyfriend, is that like validation, like, yes, you're good enough.
Yes.
Right?
No, the being good, the good enough thing is something that comes up a lot.
We are like the chronic, like good boy people.
And like, I think that goes back to the gifted child thing.
Yeah, no,
like
it really does.
Like this constant, like, especially too when you don't have to try very hard.
Yes. So we both learned that like our self-worth was dependent on like our productivity and outside approval. And also subject to change if we were like no longer achieving at the same level that we were. And it like fucked with the way that we view relationships.
If you're not getting that constant feedback, then like clearly I must be doing something wrong.
So therefore try harder, which actually is like a very unhealthy behavior in relationships.
Like most of the times do the opposite.
Yes, especially when someone is like breadcrumbing you or ghosting you.
The breadcrumbing shit though, like I will say too, I can sit there a lot quicker now, but like I let that shit fucking like a fucking whirlpool. I let that shit just spin me the fuck around.
You did, yeah. That's
like I look like Dorothy.
Yeah, you really did.
In the fucking Wizard of Oz.
Cyclone. Yeah.
She's a cyclone. You said so many things. You said another one earlier too.
What did I say?
There's another song. What was it?
I don't know. You look like you're
I should have said Riptide too.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, continue.
And we shouldn't sing that because we'll get copyrighted. Okay, but so question then. We don't actually fucking disagree about this, do we?
Well, we let everyone to think we disagree. Okay, so like
but
to
I want
be
to find
clear,
something we do disagree about now.
What's it gonna be? There has to be something we disagree about.
I don't know. We do date kind of differently. Is there something? Ooh, question. Is there something about the way that I approach dating that you're like, ooh, I would never?
I don't really. I don't particularly. Obviously, I'm invested in your relationships with your others
people.
But I don't generally, because also like hearing from other people around me and like other like I'm very much around like chronic single men and chronically single men.
That's like such a sick burn.
But and so like sometimes it's just like the thing. I think that it's the booba and the kiki.
Oh, kiki and booba.
Yeah. And I think I don't know how I'm gonna tie this all in together, but I'm gonna do my best.
Okay.
I think
I'll link a video in the description about kiki and booba, by the way, if you don't know what that is.
But yeah, I think I don't know where I want to go with that, but it feels like in my brain there's like the two wires are like right here, and they're like.
Do you feel like you date kiki people or booba people?
I think initially I was dating kikis.
I don't disagree with that.
Now I date boobas, or I try to find boobas.
Same.
But I like that is another thing.
I'm a sucker for a good kiki every now and again because I just like chaos.
But I
am a booba girl.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I would be the trope of if I was a woman, I would fix you. I would fix you. I promise you. I could do it. I could do it so good. And so I find
you
my
were
kikis.
That way already.
I know. I just want to fix you. Let me help you.
You have a problem with the white knight thing.
It's the white knight. It's not white savior, to be clear. I'm looking forward to your video on that.
It's the knight in shining armor
I
thing.
do. I know. And it is. And I had to, that was really hard for me to unlearn. Because also, some kikis don't want to be fixed. No. Some kikis are happy to be kikis.
Also, to be clear, not all kikis are wounded people who need fixing necessarily.
Totally fair. I'm just using kiki as a term of generalizing, which also it's not good to generalize either.
Kiki and booba is,
but for the sake of
amorphous.
For the sake of our own narrative, I think it's fair to say that I do love a good kiki.
Yeah, you do.
But sometimes kikis don't love me.
No. But also too, like, the type of kiki I think that you were chasing for a while.
Specific type of kiki.
Yeah, was like the
was
the anxious avoidant attachment of like come here so I can push you away.
We had so many fun conversations,
and that was very confusing for you.
In the beginning of Mickey saying, "Oh, found another one, huh?" And they're like cats. I just love cats.
Okay, but you really were like the vet tech who just like brings home every animal, like every foster animal.
A little bird, I will mend your wing. Yeah. I promise I'll make you fly again.
But also too, the funny thing about it was that it was like people who were like, no, I don't want that.
I don't want that.
And you were like, oh no, but I can do it though.
I'll do it. Trust me, you want this.
Yeah, and then you would be upset when people didn't want that.
Like, why don't you want my emotional...
Sorry, my contact just tried to eject itself from my eyeball.
Is it still in your eyeball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Someday we'll get you LASIK.
Piss off with your healthcare privilege. Fuck you.
I'm just kidding. I have healthcare too.
Yeah, but not that covers LASIK.
That's fair. I'm sorry.
My healthcare is not as good for my vision as yours is.
No, it is not.
So, anyways, okay, but we still don't disagree about anything, though.
No,
I want to disagree. I want to
fight with you. Also, the thing about Mickey, I'm gonna tell you this right now. She loves a good argument.
I do.
You love.
People used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, like, you should be a lawyer one day.
Astrology has been so cool to learn about lately.
Oh yeah.
Like especially as for us, I feel like because we're not religious anymore.
Yes.
Episode to come on that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
But because we're not religious anymore, I think it's just so cool. Also, I think stars and like astrology, general astrology, and the sense of like mapping the sky, and like all that, and like space and shit is just so fucking cool.
It
But then like the way it like mathematically lines up with stuff. Yes. I sound like a crazy person, but like it really, I guess not. Listen, though. Like it also, really does.
If people can have religion, I can have the stars. Like you literally said that to me one time, and I'm stealing that as a catchphrase.
I said that?
Yes.
Sometimes I just say the best things. Yes. And don't even realize.
You came out of therapy and you were like, I told my therapist today that if people can have religion, I can have the stars. Like I just like astrology. Fair. It makes sense
cool.
to me.
I don't and not in a horoscope way. I don't like, but I think the thing we talked about though in the phases or the
it's like all pattern based.
Yeah.
Because also
too fucking sick.
People write off astrology because they have read like in Cosmo magazine a sun sign horoscope one time and like, oh, that's so
that
big.
didn't apply to me.
Duh, because fucking Cosmo put it in a magazine to resonate with everyone. Of course but like that's pop astrology. That's like not a full picture of what astrology can look
your
like.
I didn't realize your birth chart was down to like the minutes you were born.
Yes, birth charts are wild.
I can't believe you had yours wrong.
I had a crisis. I had like an identity crisis.
I remember you literally texted me in all caps.
Yeah.
Actually, most of our texts just end up being in all caps because normally it's just like, oh my God, this is like.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, I can explain it now a little bit. Like basically what happened is that if you're not aware, your rising sign is like very dependent on the time of birth because your rising sign
I can't believe it changes that much.
Yeah. Your rising sign is what was coming over the horizon at the time that you were born.
Yeah.
And so like even something as small as an hour can make a difference. And on my birth certificate, it says a particular time.
Yes, but then your parents.
And then I was on the phone with my parents just chit-chatting about astrology and other stuff. And they were like, oh, we found this sweet little memory box for you today. Yeah. It's like the little placard that was on your crib when you were in the baby nursery in the hospital. And it says like, hi, I'm new here. And it literally says like time of birth. And it was an hour after my birth certificate. And I was like, hold the fuck on. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then through like some other conversations with my parents, we verified that time is probably more accurate. And then I talked to my astrology. Yeah. We talked to my astrology teacher about it. And they were like, listen, like you being an Aries rising makes so much more sense than you being a Pisces rising. Like, look at your chart. Like they ran me another birth chart and we like looked through all of it. And they were like you're an Aries rising. Sorry. Like it just makes more sense. Like the way that you present yourself has nothing to do with like Piscean energy at all.
I don't know what that would have changed for you. Or
I feel actually like it was kind of an interesting catalyst in me becoming more of myself.
I remember that.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
it was a sweet time, honestly. Like
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it was like very freeing. Yeah. You know? It was like permission to be my chaotic and kind of aggressive self a little bit.
Because what are your like top three or like what is it? It's
my big three. I'm an Aries rising, Scorpio sun, and an Aries
that's
moon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a double Aries for my big three, which is like makes sense.
It does make sense. And that's why you started having the red hair.
Actually, that was one of the things when I found out I did have red hair at the time. And they were like, are you joking? Like, you really don't think you're an Aries? They were like, really? You don't think you're an Aries?
You, of all people.
And I was like, yeah, that's a fair point, honestly. But anyways, we should talk more about dating.
Do you ever not, because I know you're obviously more in the astrology Kool-Aid than I am.
Yeah.
But I am aware of it. Mm-hmm. So like, do you ever base your swipes and your dating off? Oh my God, you do.
No. Okay, listen.
I'm listening.
No,
you would be like,
no, not necessarily. However, if I'm like undecided on somebody's profile and there are a few things that I'm like, but then I look at their big three if they have them listed and they're like not gonna work for me, then I'm like, all right, that'll tip it over. It'll tip it over the edge for me.
Do you ever see them? You're like, oh my God, we line up perfectly. Like,
actually, you know what? That is another thing. If I see somebody who has the same big three as me, either like exactly the same or like just sort of transposed, pass.
You're like, I don't want any more.
We're not going to fucking get along.
Have you dated anyone that you knew or that you end up finding out?
that we have the same? No.
And then, oh, okay.
I have been in like brief talking phases with people who have 2 out of the 3 of my big 3.
Doesn't work?
Yeah, it's just not.
I remember you telling me too, oh, yeah, because you're telling me like when celebrities post their kiddos online and stuff, and you'll see what they're...
Sometimes you can run a birth chart for free on the internet.
No, I know, that's so cool. Like, I can't believe how much ours line up.
I know. Well, because we were born 19 days apart. So
like people, if you're born close together, you just...
Well, yeah. So like obviously the outer planets like Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, even kind of like because Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, those are generational planets. Yeah. So like everybody who was born in like 94 to fucking, I don't know, like all the way up to like Gen Z basically has Pluto in Scorpio. Because that's just the way that it works.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that we have those in common.
Yeah.
But like some of our personal planets are the same. Obviously, like some of our like mid planets are the same. But
I'm so excited to get our birth chart reading.
I am so excited about it.
So
Spoiler, we're doing that soon.
Not really sure how we got here, but we made it.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Before we wrap, do we have anything that we actually disagree about? Is there anything that like that you feel strongly about your dating that like that I would never do, or like it's not that I want to argue with you. I just feel like we started.
Sometimes feel like you want.
No, I feel like we started this episode being like we disagree about a thing, and then like actually it turns out we didn't at all.
I feel like sometimes when people think they disagree on something, if they would just talk about it,
and just get out of here, you boomer.
Just kidding.
Get out of here.
No, I'm sure there's something. We can't agree on everything.
No.
We'll have to come back to the drawing board because I think there's just no way. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be able to poop out something that I disagree with you on right off the top of my head. That sounds awful. That's a stupid thing to say. I know you want to argue badly. We will maybe, I don't know. I don't even know if am I the assholes because we tend to agree. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Is there anything that I've ever done or like a decision that I've made in dating that you were like side eye?
I'm sure there has
I can think of one in particular.
You want to tell me and see if I remember? Because I'm wondering if it's one I'm thinking of.
What are you thinking of?
There was a person who you didn't want to date, or you ended up not dating them, and then some time passed, and you're like, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Is it that? Yeah, I had a feeling. Do you want to share with the class, or is that one gonna?
I mean, I'm obviously like I'm not gonna share any like identifying details because I don't want to violate anyone's privacy. But there was a person that I went on a few dates with and had like a pretty brief.
That first one I feel like was a pretty good indicator, but we were new. It was fine.
Well, and also too because I have like really unrelenting standards about things. Sometimes I'm very severe,
Oh, and with no remorse or regard or like any room for flexibility.
That's not true. Really? You think that I have like no room for
Sometimes. I said with some things. Not with everything.
Okay, that's fair.
God, no, you're a very flexible person.
Okay.
But not with sometimes when you get it in your head.
It's mostly cis men.
When you've decided it in your head.
Especially cis het men that I'm like,
they get different standards. That's fine.
Yeah. But no, there was a particular person that I had like a brief interaction with and it didn't go well. And then some time passed and I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that bad. Like maybe I'm doing the thing where I'm being really severe. And I reached back out to that person and
gave it another try, which is nothing wrong with that. I think that's very honorable.
It was like just spectacularly bad.
It like somehow went worse.
Yes.
The second go around.
Yeah, just like up in flames. But like not even in like a...
The fun, messy way.
No, yeah, well, it wasn't like there was some big blow up argument or just like, it was just like bad.
Fizzling is almost worse sometimes than having a big like, because it was just like, I fucking hate your guts. Like
there was just like a very sobering realization that I have in the midst of like that time where I was like, what am I doing? Like I have disrespected myself so severely to find myself in this situation and it's time for me to go. I need to leave.
I know.
And I've had a couple of those too. Again.
You're just like, well, how the fuck did I get here?
Yes. What is wrong with me?
Oh my God.
All right. Well, I feel satisfied now. Thank you for disagreeing with you on something.
Oh yeah. That was the one, but I would never hold it against you though. I want you to know.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing
we
too.
Disagree about stuff. I don't like.
That's one of my favorite parts is we'll
maybe.
just come back at the end of the day and like what is wrong with us?
I still love you.
I love you too.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
That's perfect.
Then you feel good about that?
I feel great about it. Do you?
All right, great. Yeah.
Outro music.
that too. I was going to say, if you guys like the podcast, like the video if you're watching this on YouTube.
Don't forget to leave a review. I said it this time.
Your 5-star reviews really do help. So if you want to leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on, and then don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening on like Apple or Spotify or whatever.
I know we made it.
Notified
Thank you guys
when
for
our
listening
episodes
for real.
come out. Yes, we love you guys the most, and we will see you next time.
Have a good rest of your day, nights, evenings.
Yeah, wherever
mornings.
you are. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.